Every year, hundreds of thousands of refugees and migrants try to reach the European Union. Some flee war or persecution, others poverty and a lack of perspective. When getting in touch with human traffickers, they're often told things that give them wrong ideas about the life in the European Union or about the journey ahead of them. We fact-checked 3 common lies that smugglers tell refugees and migrants.
Sie haben mir gesagt, der Weg nach Europa sehr leicht und dauert nur so 2 Stunden bis zu Europa.
The Mediterranean route is safe. False. Many migrants and refugees come via the Mediterranean Sea. In some cases, they pay smugglers a lot of money in the hope of reaching the EU safely. But is the Mediterranean route actually safe? Let's look at the facts. From January till the end of October of 2022 alone, at least 120,000 people have crossed the Mediterranean to flee to Europe. How many have died or are missing exactly is difficult to quantify. According to the UNHCR, however, more than 1,700 refugees have already died or gone missing in the Mediterranean Sea in this period. Since 2014, there have been roughly 26,000, and many organizations say that the real number is much higher. But why is the Mediterranean route so dangerous? There are several reasons. The crossing itself can take days or even weeks, as there are several possible routes. At least 80 kilometers, but often several hundred kilometers, must be crossed. Many boats used for the journey are not suitable for it.
Der klassische Fall ist, dass die Boote einfach so undenkbar schlecht sind, dass sie sinken, dass sie Lecker schlagen, dass sie volllaufen, dass der Motor ausfällt und die Boote dann manövrierenfähig sind und im Grunde damit so gut wie verloren sind. Schauen Sie, das sind oftmals kleine Schlauchboote, die sind für den küstennahen Bereich gemacht, also für ein paar hundert Meter vielleicht.
On top of that, the boats are oftentimes overcrowded. More passengers are forced on board than the dinghy can carry. Plus, if there are problems during the crossing, there is no way of getting help. There is often no mobile phone service in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, and state-led sea rescue operations have been drastically reduced in the past years. Additionally, refugees are repeatedly arrested and detained by coast guards from non-European countries such as Libya. So in a nutshell, the Mediterranean is not a safe escape route. It is actually even considered one of the most dangerous sea routes in the world. Many refugees and migrants heading to Europe also hear that basically the European Union is a job paradise. Anas Mustafa, a Syrian now living in Germany, has also made this experience.
Sie haben viel erzählt, wenn du in Europa bist, musst du nur einmal pro Woche arbeiten, bekommst du pro Tag 300, 400 Euro, bekommst du direkt Wohnung, du musst nicht kein Deutsch lernen, du kannst einfach so arbeiten.
Well-paid jobs are easy and quick to find in the EU. Misleading. Many factors indicate that access to the labor market is actually not that easy. Here's why. Firstly, there's the legal aspect. If you do not have a legal status in Europe, you're not allowed to work. Therefore, many refugees and migrants end up in illegal jobs with very bad working conditions. They're exposed to exploitation and to the danger of being deported if authorities track them down. If they, however, have started an asylum-seeking process in an EU country, it's different.
Wenn Sie im Asylverfahren sind, dürfen Sie in der Regel nach einer EU-Richtlinie, da gibt es auch Ausnahmen, aber in der Regel spätestens nach 9 Monaten haben Sie den Zugang zum Arbeitsmarkt.
But how well this is implemented can vary a lot. It is also not a guarantee for someone to actually find a job. They might still be stuck in a refugee camp without a job for years. And of course, there's also no guarantee that in the end, the asylum-seeking process is successful. In 2021, more than half of the asylum seekers were rejected in the EU. But if you are accepted, you also have the right to work. So much for the legal aspect, but there's also a practical one. For refugees, it is often not easy to get employed in Europe, especially in their original profession and with a good salary. Non-EU citizens are overrepresented in economic sectors such as accommodation and food service activities, domestic work and construction, and underrepresented in better paid sectors like education or financial activities.
Auch die Hochqualifizierten, die Akademikerin, erstmal im Exil haben sie auch sozusagen auch einen sozialen Statusverlust, weil ihre Diplome, ihre Arbeitszeit vielleicht nicht anerkannt wird, was oft ein Problem ist. Und auf einmal wird aus einer hochtalentierten Ärztin eine wundervolle Krankenschwester.
Other aspects that make it difficult to integrate oneself in the labor market are the language barrier and sometimes prejudices in the host society. So to sum it up, access to the labor market depends on a person's legal status. It will take some time until a refugee is allowed to start working, and many refugees struggle to find well-paid, steady employment. Therefore, it is not so easy to find well-paid jobs in Europe. Among the many refugees trying to reach the European Union every year, there are also pregnant women and unaccompanied minors, and they are also told many lies.
با خود قاچاقبر برشان مشوره میدهم که اگر آلمان رفتین، اگر سنتان 20-21 سال هستین، خودتان زیر سن بتین، زیر 18 سال، چون فایده های بیشتری دارن. شما را نمیتونن دوباره بفرست افغانستان یا دیپورتتان کنن.
Like this refugee, many have been told being pregnant or a minor guarantees your asylum in the European Union. False. What is true is that these two groups are considered to be particularly vulnerable. Therefore, they may be entitled to specific conditions and guarantees.
Ganz zentral ist, dass es europäisches Recht und internationales Recht gibt, was sie erstmal in der Aufnahmesituation schützt. Nämlich gewährleisten soll, dass sie menschenwürdig aufgenommen werden, kindgerecht aufgenommen werden, dass als schwangere Frau ihre medizinischen Bedürfnisse erfüllt werden, dass sie adäquat betreut werden.
But being pregnant or an unaccompanied minor does not automatically qualify you for international protection. You must go through the same application process as any other person. Refugee status can be granted when there is danger of being persecuted for reasons of race, religion, nationality, and political opinion. Subsidiary protection is granted to persons who do not qualify for refugee status but who would face a risk of suffering serious harm in their home country, like the death penalty or conflict and war. A deportation ban can be determined if somebody does not qualify for either the refugee status or the subsidiary protection, but being deported would mean a violation of the European Convention on Human Rights or a considerable danger to life, limb, or freedom. Toleration is not a residence permit, but means a deportation is only temporarily suspended. This can be granted if a person is not fit for travel or important papers are missing.
Schwangere werden in aller Regel nicht abgeschoben, sondern bekommen mindestens eine Duldung. Es ist schon richtig, dass Kinder zum Beispiel nicht abgeschoben werden. Aber das heißt noch lange nicht, dass Kinder auch sofort als Flüchtlinge anerkannt werden. Und außerdem werden auch Kinder irgendwann mal 18.
The question is, what happens after minors come of age and pregnant women have given birth? Well, it can be that in the end of the day, they can stay in an EU country. For example, if they have been there for a long time and are well integrated.
Dass sie schon ein Teil der Gesellschaft sind, dass sie Ausbildung machen, dass sie arbeiten oder dass sie einfach angekommen sind, dann diskutiert man selbstverständlich auch über dauerhafte Bleiberechte. Das macht Deutschland, das machen auch alle EU-Staaten mit verschiedenen Termini. Amnestie, Bleiberechtsregelung, Altfallregelung.
So every case is unique. Another myth that many refugees are told is that babies born in an EU country automatically receive the country's nationality. This is not true. The 1997 European Convention on Nationality says states shall grant their nationality to any child born on their territory who would be stateless otherwise. That is something that sometimes happens to babies of refugees and migrants, because the parents are, for example, not able to register with the authorities of their country of origin. But in practice, this rule remains ineffective. Some EU member states are not party to the convention at all. Others have failed to effectively include it in their national law. Therefore, being pregnant or a minor does not guarantee you asylum in the European Union. According to the EU Agency for Asylum, you should temporarily receive special protection, But whether in the long term you are entitled to refugee status or subsidiary protection is a different question. Have you seen false claims and fake news on flight and migration? Write in the comments or send us an email to factchecking@ew.com.